Hi, beautiful. Oneness evolving here. Yeah, I know the wind is blowing, but I want to show you the garden, and then we'll go inside in the relative peace and quiet, and I'll tell you what I've been writing about for God of me today. It's kind of exciting. I've finished a chunk, and then of course I have to get my teeth into the new one, which is always interesting. But let me show you the world first. This garden, as you can no doubt see, is starting to burst into flowers. This is what happens. This is the faithful Cineraria. It's been flowering all winter, and now that it's spring, you can see that it's, bits of it is slowing down, but it makes a lovely contrast with the freesias behind. I'm going to show you the freesias. This is a big pile of belladonna, I have to say. But look at these. When I came here about 30 years ago, there was a thin line of these just planted along here. So there's a piece of concrete there. It's a thin line of these white Freesia burtonii, I believe that's their name. And the reason why there's all these golden ones is that they've hybridized. There is a bright gold Freesia sitting somewhere else in my garden, and the birds and the bees have done their thing, and we've got a crossbreed. And that's why you've got these bright gold ones here, and then as you go along they get paler, and at the back they're just this beautiful soft yellow, because different genes have come out in the crossing, and I really enjoy this. And the other thing you can see is that the sedum is flowering, and it's beautiful seeing the both together. And let me see if I can get you close. I'm really fond of the fractal shape of these sedum. And look, they're doing so well, they're actually crowding the lilies. I'm going to have to take some of them out, but not right now. And then we have autumn crocus. And there are tulips coming up here. They're just being leaves, but they will turn into flowers. And look at the calendula. It's gorgeous. So this is all happening. And we also have muscari, the little grape hyacinth, which is just beautiful and bright. I really enjoy this little part of my world. Colourful things happening. And you can see the Sphoraxis bed is about to burst. And there are more Cineraria around the place. I'll show you that in a minute. But I just want to show you the Corydalis. Some people know this plant better. There's an electric blue version of it, but this is the yellow one, and it's really cool because it naturalizes and grows everywhere. And yes, I've got a big pile of driftwood because I've got more edges to do. And yes, there's a heap of compost. Hi, beautiful being. It's lovely to see you. So this is the garden. It is about to explode into colour with the Cineraria. They're all just ready to burst. And yeah, this is quite blank, but there's stuff planted in here that you can't really see. There's little irises. They're coming up. I've spread them all out. They're all very choked. And hopefully this year I'll get a really fantastic show. So, yeah, things are happening. The little miniature roses are happier because they've got space. And there's coriander there, and it's a garden. It grows. And it's exciting when it all starts to burst out like this. The dogtooth violets are happier because they've got their own little spot and they can see the sun. And look, next week this is going to be amazing. So we're just doing the little tour. The roses are coming out with new leaves. I always love this part. And the hyacinths are going to be very blue in a little while. Right now they're just leaves. Tall iris plants that I hope will flower. They haven't flowered for a long time, but I like them so much I'm reluctant to dig them out. Granny's bonnets coming out. And now I can show you these beautiful white violets, which I really enjoy because they smell so good. I know you can't smell them, but they're just, I'm up here, I'm a good foot away, and the scent wafts up from below. And look, magnolia is starting to come out as well. So it's all happening here. It really is. It's just all go. And I love how I cleared all of this out, and now there's space and you can see the ferns. And very exciting. I know it looks a bit scruffy, but see, we've got some cuttings here and they're just going voom. And these don't look like they're vooming, but they actually are. So that's very exciting. I like making new things. And even the cribble's looking colourful because I put stuff in it. So, having boasted about all the excitement in the garden, let me go inside and tell you about why I reckon anybody can learn to talk with God, bluntly. But you notice that I put little inverted commas and there was no capital G, because I don't use that word in the religious sense. I use that word in the sense of infinite mind, the divine, that which knows. And in fact, I use that word most accurately referring to the unified field, or the 0 point field, which contains all the information in the universe through the whole of time. And just imagine if you can speak with that mind and ask your questions. And because that information is through the whole of time, I know this is a brain bender, but it's got the information about the future as well as the past, which means that, you know, in a way that I can't currently explain, but I can tell you is absolutely true from my own experience, you can actually get information about the future. And it's not through a crystal ball. So, anyway, what I'm talking about today, excuse me, I'm just getting myself organised here so I can relax as I speak with you, is this whole business. Okay, if we're going to have a real conversation with God, and this is a skill that anyone can learn, and I truly believe that it is, because hell, I learned it, then a skill is something that you learn by practice, and you make mistakes, and you learn from your mistakes, and you get better because you practice. That's all it takes to be able to actually talk with God, whatever you think God is. And if you have a religious faith and that works for you, then in those, you know, for God, put however it is that you, whatever words it is that you use in your mind for God. For me, because I had a religious faith once, but I outgrew that. And that's not a judgment on what the faith was, it just no longer served me. And now I find that the relationship with what I used to call the divine is infinitely more rich. It's just it's the same sense of God, the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I just use different words, and it's become very deep and very personal. And more than that, it's direct. And I can have a conversation and I can ask my questions, and it doesn't matter what they are. I know how to get answers now. And when I compare that to how I used to feel in my life, I really used to feel quite lost and alone and scared and, you know, and now I don't. Because I know how to access that information from God, whatever that means to you. So I use that word with some care because it's a word that can be very charged, and if you don't believe in God, that's fine. You know, I don't believe in God in the sense that many people do who have a religious faith at all. But whatever the divine is for you, whatever that source of wisdom and guidance, that part of you that seems to know things sometimes, and that magnificent something that must be organizing what we see with our eyes and what we can measure with our instruments, because it just seems to be, I mean, there's repeating patterns and stuff hangs around and evolves and grows, and that people have done the math. There is no way that can happen by chance. It's basically impossible. And if some single cellular life form, you know, one cell, managed to evolve randomly, and it's really, really hard, like it would take billions and billions and billions of years, if it did evolve on its own, it'd probably have a brick fall on it or something, and then it'd be another few billion years for it to evolve. And it just doesn't, the math doesn't support the fact that we're all here by chance. There is something that is organizing our universe. And that self-organizing infinite intelligence, which is fractal and repeating, and it's always getting more organized and creating more complexity. And you don't quote me, I mean, this is what I'm reading and learning. That to me is God. So you see, that's what when I say God, that's what I mean. Whatever you mean is cool. The point is, whatever that is, if you can communicate with it, if you can actually have a direct heart-to-heart, mind-to-mind, soul-to-soul communication with God, then you can ask your questions and you can get answers. And I'm sitting here telling you that this is possible, at least for me. And it's kind of my little thing that I want to do, is to share the fact that it's possible for me, so maybe it's possible for you too. And let's see if we can work out how to teach it and learn it. That's actually what God of Me is about. It's not all of what God of Me is about, but it's kind of the first piece. To be able to be God of you, God of me, I'm God of me. Okay, I'm God of me. What do I need to be God of me? Well, I need to be able to find my own way through my life, instead of having to go, well, I need a God, or I need a priest, or I need a teacher, or a ruler, or somebody to say, you should do this, or a culture. Oh my God. Culture culture's great because it gives people a framework within which to operate. So, well, my culture says I do this and this and this. But what if you find that your culture doesn't serve you? Now what do you do? Do you just kind of slavishly keep on doing what your culture says? Or do you start to think, well, is there some part of me that can connect with the part of the universe or whatever it is that knows, that can give me a better way to navigate my life than just saying, well, culturally I should do this. This is what my ancestors did. Maybe what your ancestors did is absolutely perfect for you, and that's great. Don't have a problem with that, please. But if it doesn't serve you, if it doesn't feel true or appropriate or even just current, because ancestors didn't live in the same world that we live in, then maybe there's a space in you that would like to also be able to get information to navigate your life yourself. Be a bit of a God of you, instead of always having to look outside you for answers. So, with that in mind, what the 0 Point Field and I were writing about today is this whole process of trial and error. We have just been finishing up, and that means completely fleshing out and making it clear, this whole piece about if you've got a question and it's complicated and you don't know the answer because you've thought it through and there's no answer inside your head that makes sense to you, that feels like it's the right thing to do, and you're just confused. And I'm talking about those complicated situations when there's conflicting demands or people or whatever it is, and you just don't know, that kind of situation where you really need some guidance, and you've asked your counselors and you've asked your friends, and it just adds to the confusion sometimes because nothing really sits inside you and says, this is the way, do this. What do you do? Well, my answer, now that I know how to do it, and it's a skill, we're coming back to the fact that anybody can learn to do this, is I know how to talk to God. Anybody can learn that. It's not, you don't need someone else to do it for you. You can actually learn. So, it's a skill, and when you are learning any skill, whether it's playing the violin, which I did for 20 years, or learning to walk, or ride a bicycle, or climb a mountain, or whatever it is, you practice. It is not an instant download, although, some children are born and they grow up and they've got tiny hands and they put them on a piano and they know how to play, and you just know that they're going to be a genius on the piano by the time they're 10, and they're amazing when they're 4, and I've seen the videos. I know that, some people just come in with the skills, but many of us have to start from the beginning. Most of us have to learn to walk. We don't just go from I'm a baby lying on my back kicking and, eating and pooping, to I know how to walk. There is a process. You keep practicing, you make mistakes, you fall over, you go, oh, that didn't work, let me try something else. It's the same thing when you're learning to talk with God. There's no difference. There's a different set of skills. And they're not skills that you're taught in school, but they are skills you can learn. So we've been talking about how to do that. And if you want to know about how it is that I do that and how the 0 point field and I have been explaining, because this does come through my filter, and another person would say it a different way, which is not, I will never say this is the way to do it, you should never do it another way. No, this is just how I do it and what I'm sharing. So we've been sharing this process of what I do, and we've been tidying it up, and the whole thing is I've been explaining a skill, we've been explaining a skill, and when you're learning a skill there's going to be trial and error. And as I went back and reviewed what we wrote last week, what always happens is I spot little places where there's a discontinuity in the story or something missing, and so we flesh it out. And this was the piece we fleshed out today about trial and error. One of the things that I've learned, and I learned this from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'll also always be grateful because I watch it as he lives his truth, and when it happens to me, I recognize it. That, you learn a skill, it's like, oh, I'm a toddler and I know how to walk, and that's great. I can get from, my bedroom to the kitchen, and it's very cool. And so a child is excited when they can walk and they've got wheels on and, they get into everything. And by the way, I'm not a parent. I just watch this. And then as the child grows, they want to do more. So walking isn't enough. They learn to run. They learn to jump and hop and skip and climb and do things. And they make mistakes and they fall over and they have injuries and they go, oh, I can jump on a trampoline. And that feels really good. So they have more experiences. Their skills develop. And as their skills develop, they choose more challenges. And so as your and my ability to listen to God, to ask questions and get the information that we need to guide ourselves in our lives, to know what's right for us in a moment. I may not know what's right for me in the next moment, but I can always find what's right for me in this moment if I take the trouble to tune in and listen. And so, I will get an answer and it'll be, okay, I know what to do. And then I kind of rest in this place of, oh, that was really cool. I like that result. It's like climbing a little mountain and you get to the top and you enjoy the view. And then you think, okay, well, it's good up here, but I can't stay here forever. Where am I going to go next? And so like the child going from walking to running to jumping to hopping to skipping to climbing to whatever else, we keep choosing bigger challenges. And so we end up with bigger questions. And sometimes life delivers us really big challenges all by itself, apparently. But actually, in my experience, somehow, in some way, that's happening because I've chosen that I want to overcome that. This is here for me. It doesn't happen to me. I know it's here for a really good reason. So the bigger questions start to arise. We grow. We overcome a challenge, we get the answer, we put it into action, we succeed. You go, oh, thank goodness, that was great, I'm so relieved. But sooner or later, we choose another challenge. And so the challenges keep evolving, which means you never, ever, ever stop learning, and you never, ever, ever stop needing to realize that there's going to be trial and error as you're talking with God. Because you'll have different questions to answer, and you will go deeper. And you'll discover new parts of yourself, and you'll discover new parts of God. Do you think God is just this, oh, there you are, and I know all of you? It never ends. So the trial and error thing isn't just about falling flat and picking yourself up and carrying on. It's understanding that it's the journey, it's the evolution, it's the growth, it's the, oh, that was interesting. Oh my God, now there's 50 more questions and opportunities that I have. That's just what happens. And you got to realize that. Or when it happens and you think, where the hell has this new challenge come from? Why is it here? And you might look at that, if you didn't know, it's, oh, well, this is awful. Oh, this is happening to me. I'm a victim. But if you realize, oh, I must in some way be ready to face this, then you have a different mindset and you think, okay, well, this is a question. I know there's an answer. It must be possible for me to talk with God, whatever that is, and find my way through this. And it's really different if you actually know that and you know how to do it. Kind of doesn't matter if everything falls apart around you, because you know, look, that's not pretty. When that happens, it's not pretty. But you know actually that you have skills to deal with the fact that it's not pretty. And, you know, it's hard. I'm not saying that knowing how to do this is going to mean everything's going to be peachy all the time. It won't. More challenges will come. But you're better equipped to face them and grow through them instead of being beaten up by them. So I think that's really important. And the whole point of God of Me, and if you're thinking, what the hell is God of Me? Look at the link underneath this post, because that will link you to my Patreon. You can find out about God of Me there. You can listen to what we write together each week, the 0 Point Field and me. And you can follow me for free and access all of that for nothing. Just your time. And I'd love to hear from you. The goal is that you get direct communication with God. That's the goal. And I'm telling you, in my own experience, it's entirely possible. I just get information. Sometimes it's a very direct conversation that really is a two-way thing. I can hear the information in my mind because I'm a very auditory person. Some people, it'll be like a movie playing in front of them, and they'll kind of they might be in the movie having the experience. The information comes visually. For other people, it's sensory. It depends how your brain is wired. Don't get all mystical or all that's woo-woo on me. It's just about how the information is processed in your brain. Seriously. So I hear voices. Yeah, I do. And I know the voices. And I don't mean that I hear it like someone's talking to me. I mean it's just an awareness within me, and I know the feeling of that voice. So everybody's different. This is one of the other things we wrote about today, is the fact that as you get this skill to talk with God, whatever that means to you, what you're really doing is developing a set of skills that involves your brain, your heart, and your body, and your whole nervous system. It becomes like a receiver for information, and you learn to decode and translate and decrypt that information, because God is, not a human. God is everything that makes everything. And so the information that we think of as God has to be translated for us to use the information that's in our head. It's like it's there, it's all around us, but we don't. It's like, do you have a television receiver that's plugged into your brain that can pick up channel 53? No. Well, actually, all of us have a receiver in our brain that can pick up the voice, the heart, the information of God. But unless it's turned on and tuned in and you know how to use it, you don't got no information. That's what God of Me is about, is establishing direct, real, genuine communication with whatever it is you think of as God, which is not human. It's not a big guy in a white robe, or girl for that matter, in a whatever, sitting somewhere away from you going, well, you're all right and you're not, and you're good and you're bad, and I'll be happy with you and I'll be sad with you. None of that is God. That's all human stuff. It's beyond our comprehension, but we can actually feel it. You can connect with that information and it will guide you. So the goal is that you get your own direct channel. You get to know how to operate it. It's within you. And I can tell you from experience, when you have the skill, life is different because you do not feel lost. And most recently for me, finally, I don't feel alone anymore. I can't tell you. My body and my brain are still kind of adapting to this sense of ongoing connection, and it doesn't come and go. It's just there. And I can't explain it, because it's like it's in every cell of my body is going, oh, there's a witness. Anyway, that's my story. That'll probably be something in some part of my inside insight this week. You're wondering what that is. Inside insights are me talking about my journey becoming God of me. I do one every week, and I share those with my supporters, my paid supporters. So go and check out the membership options. It's not a lot of money if you're able to do it and you want to. So it's really cool having this skill in place. So there's a lot of trial and error involved. Hi guys, lovely to see you. There's a lot of trial and error involved, but you make this direct connection, and it's worth all the effort that I've ever put into it to be able to navigate my life no matter what. And the point that the 0 point field and I made this time in the writing, and you'll hear when I read it, is that the processes and the concepts and the ideas and the things we're sharing, and there's going to be exercises. I know it's coming. There's going to be a group. There's probably going to be two. I don't know. It's all, I only know the step that's in front of me right now. But all of those things are being filtered through my experience and what I know and what I've learned. And if you decide to practice those things and realize that this is a skill and, you can learn it and get good at it, and it might not take very long before you think, well, I know how to do this. Okay. But how can I tweak it up? How can I experiment? Could I do it a bit differently? Could I try it this way? Could I do something out of left field here and see what happens? And you're going to start experimenting, testing and trying. So trial and error isn't just about falling flat on your face and picking yourself up and dusting yourself off. It's about becoming a sort of a scientist in your life, an experimenter, and thinking, okay, well, I had that communication with God there, and it was really cool, but I don't know how to do it again. So if I can, and I've been banging my head against a brick wall and it's not working, so can I do this differently? And you start asking questions, and you start gathering information, and you start talking to other people who are playing with the same things, and you compare notes, you experiment, you explore, and you keep learning, and it just keeps growing, and eventually you evolve your own way of doing and being God of you and communicating with God, and then nobody can tell you how to live your life. They might give you feedback, and one of the things that the 0 point field encourages is, don't just rush off and do the first thing you think of, even if it feels really, really right. You need to just sit with that and, whoa, really? Keep your brain on. Is that what's really right for me? Think through the 3-dimensional consequences just because it feels really amazing. Okay, if I do this, what's going to happen? Keep your brain on. Talk to people that when you speak to them, you notice you come away, you feel clearer, you feel calmer, you feel uplifted. It's positive for you. If you talk to someone, even if they've been your best friend for 50 years, and you go away and you realize you feel drained and tired, well, maybe that's not the best person to talk to about the things that are really important to you, because it's not uplifting, it's not helpful. Sometimes you can get some big surprises when you think about stuff like that. So you find coherent sounding boards. That's how I think about it. And you pick up new information because you start looking for more information. This is me. I look for more information, and I think, oh, no, you pick something up and you put it down immediately. Like you listen to the person speak a couple of sentences and you think, no, I don't even want to hear that. And you don't know why. I don't know why, but I've learned to trust myself that, and it's nothing to do with that information being bad. It just doesn't feel good to me. So I put it down and I try the next thing. I don't have to listen to the whole 2-hour thing or read the whole book to know if information is right for me. The same heart, brain, body feedback that allows me to communicate directly with whatever God is also gives me information about information. When I look at information, I look at the person who's presenting, or I pick up a book and I read a few sentences, I know really quickly if I want to look more or not. I just get that feedback because I've got the tool. It's the same tool that guides you. It's useful for a lot of other things too, but we're just talking about navigating your life now. So getting me and my process and my whatever it is out of the picture, it's a starting point. It's tools, and there will be exercises and there will be things you can use to practice and all of that stuff. But the end goal is that you get your information and your guidance direct from God. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be anybody or anything in between you and that connection. And you use whatever tools help you to make it. And eventually, the connection becomes your own, and you know how it works. You have this relationship with your body and your brain and your heart, and you know how to make them sing and dance in between you, because you are not your body or your brain or your heart. Remember, you're another piece of God out there in the whole the unified field. But there's an interface between you, and it's between God and you, and it's your body, your brain, your heart. So learning how to use that, it makes it easier to navigate in your life. It really does. So it's kind of a wrapping up. We've actually finished that piece, and then I had sort of an hour or so left, and it's like, okay, what's the next piece? And the next piece, which I'm just getting my teeth into, and whenever I'm getting into a new piece, it's always messy, is the whole, because this is all about using the heart compass. The human has 3 compasses. There's one in your heart, there's one in your gut, and there's the one that everybody knows about inside your head. So, of course, the next one we're going to talk about is the compass in your gut. And that's your enteric nervous system. God, I'll talk for a long time. I've run out of time. And we're just starting to work out I'm just starting to work out how to describe it very simply and short. So that's what we're doing. And I'm going to stop now because I'm way over time. But it's lovely to share with you. Lovely to wrap it on. And if you're still here at the end of this video, if you're on Facebook or Patreon, well, bless you. I look forward to sharing more with you. And if you'd like to, like and subscribe and share. And I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.